Hey, everybody. It's your girl, ToresaBeFree. And I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to another episode in Toresa Be world. Listen, I count it such an honor and truly an astute privilege that you would come and actually make a decision to come and hang out with me for a few moments. So I just want to say thank you. So listen, I am really thrilled about these next few episodes that I have coming up on the show, because I am going to be pulling some thoughts out of a couple of books that I've penned in lieu to a brand new book that I'm getting ready to launch, coming out very soon. And so let me share with you the two books that I've written. The first one is this right here, Pressing Towards the Mark. It's Not What You Think. And then the second one is, I said that backwards. Return from the Brink of Disaster. That is my very first book. Okay, a little bit about me and that in my story. The second one is this one right here. Return from the Brink of Disaster. It's Not What You Think. And so I know a lot of you were not aware and didn't realize that I'm also a published author. But yes, I am. And not many people have that testimony or have that in their repertoire. And so I feel really blessed and honored to have been able to put pen to paper and have something from my experience in my name. So, these next couple of weeks in front of us, I want to share some thoughts and have conversations with you from different things that I've covered in both of these books as I get ready to prepare to release and talk about my brand new book, the 22 Reset and Renew journal. But today we're going to pull a thought out of Return from the Brink of Disaster. And in today's topic, I want to talk about depression. And the other couple of topics that I'm going to be talking about this week. It's going to be threefold. It's going to be depression, purpose, and process. And these are things that all of us have to go through in our journey through life. And some of us are able to handle and maneuver through these things a little better than others. But because these things are so dear and precious to me, I found it necessary for me to have these real conversations with you over in this area so that you can all kind of have an idea as to why I'm so passionate when it comes to communicating with you and giving you information or resources or tools, tips that are going to help you learn how to free yourself and be your most authentic self if you make a decision to do your own personal internal work. So I want to share just a short passage out of Return from the Brink of Disaster, and just dive off into the conversation. And if you hear something that I have to say that resonates with you, I need you all to do me an extremely huge favor, because again, this channel is not all about me, but it's about you and us having a community conversation. Drop down in the comment section below and talk back to me, okay? All right, so here we go. You would have never told me that I would be in a constant battle with rejection. You just would not have been able to convince me that this war for me would be heavily in my mind. How many of you can already identify with that? Would be heavily in my mind with strong bouts of depression. No one just would have never been able to convince me that in my walk, before I could get to where God wanted me to be, I would have to be listen to this, abused, mistreated, talked about, persecuted, beat down mentally, and literally lose everything I had before I could walk into the destiny that was created for me to be in. Listen, today I want to have a conversation with those of you who suffer or who deal with depression. Many of us deal with it in different ways, and I know that there's various types of depression. We have your situational depression, and then we have those who they kind of stay in a constant state of being depressed. And some may even have to take different types of medication to help them deal or achieve some type of balance so that they can live their life. Listen, I want to talk to the people who deal with depression because I know firsthand what depression feels like and where it can take you if you are not able to grab a hold of it and turn that into something a little better or in a more positive light for you in your particular circumstance. And I realize that everybody is different. So in this conversation, I am in no way discounting any level or anyone's level of where they are in their depression experience. But it is my hope and it is the intention that what I have to say, that I will be able to speak to you in that dark place and be a light that helps you see in that dark tunnel or help you find your way back through that dark hole. So, depression, for me, it comes at various times where I least expect it. And I experience extreme heavy battles, and sometimes I felt like it's been a war going on in my mind that just takes me into this dark place where I don't want to be around people. I just want to stay shut in my house, stay in my room with the covers over me. The sunlight is coming in, but definitely, not wanting to deal with the sun, or just it's a very, very dark space. And when it hits me, it's completely unexpected, but it's just like this big, heavy negative energy that rests upon me. And so, I know that many, many people who are watching me communicate right now, I have this conversation with you right now. You may be in a depressive state. And I just want to say to you that your life does not have to be ruled by that depression. And there is a way that you can shift or unlock yourself, the door rather, and allow yourself to walk through and out of that dark space and begin to live your life. But in my depression, I think a lot of times I want to say my depression, some of it was situational. And then there were times that I was walking in depression, and it was just because, and I wrote some things down here before preparing to get ready to get in front of this camera and talk to you. But some of the things that I dealt with in my depression was low self-esteem, very low self-esteem. I didn't think very highly of myself at all. I lived a very sheltered, religious, rigorous life when I was coming up. And, I wasn't allowed to do a lot of things. I certainly was not in a position to be this outgoing, energetic, spirit, charismatic, filled person that I am today in front of you. But I didn't think very highly of myself at all. I thought I was ugly. I thought that life just was going to always be hard for me. I dealt with major feelings of hopelessness about my life and just various circumstances that I was going through, and just feeling like things were not going to ever get better, no matter how hard I tried, to reposition myself for different outcomes. I was molested as a child, and just taken advantage of as a kid, and just how I came up. These were all things that I had to filter through and take the layers off. Like an onion, there's so many layers. These are all things and a whole lot more that I don't even have time to go into in this episode with you. But all of these different things and a whole lot more played into my depression. And, I found myself many times in a very low state. And so for whatever reasons, there was always still as low as I could possibly be. There was always still this little bit of fight in me that would not allow me to throw in the towel, because there were times where I didn't want to live anymore and thought of ways and had thoughts, live thoughts about suicide and things of that nature. And on the outside, nobody knew, but this is how I was feeling on the inside. And I didn't feel like there was anybody around me that could really understand where I was or could relate to where I was going through. And so right here, I just want to pause and encourage many of you to check in on your friends. And don't be surfacey when you check in on them, but check in on them for real. Ask those questions, because you really want to know how your friend is doing. We're hearing way too many stories here now of people committing suicide, and we thought they were happy, but literally they were suffering in silence. And that's literally how it feels a lot of times when you're in that depression and you can't, for whatever reasons, you feel like you can't get out of it. You're suffering in silence. Depression is real, but I want to let you know that there is hope and there is a way for you that has been specifically created for you to be able to reposition yourself so that you can come out of that dark place and begin to move into the light and live in a place of abundance in your mind, because literally it's all about how you perceive and view yourself in spite of all of the various circumstances that you may have gone through as a child, as a teenager, as an adult. You don't have to stay in those spaces. You can move yourself out of those spaces. And for some of you, it may require you to seek out professional help. And I strongly encourage you to do that. When I went through right before I went through my divorce, I sought out professional help to help me maneuver through all of that, because there was just a lot that I was dealing with mentally, spiritually, and physically. And there was depression that was resting upon my life, and it was heavy, and so that was another reason why it was so important for me to pull back and not be so social. So listen, I want to let you know that there is hope for you out there if this is where you may currently find yourself in life in 2022. You don't have to remain in a depressed state. I'm here as your personal testimony to let you know that you can come out of it. But here's the trick, and I don't want to say trick, but here's the trick. You have to make a conscious decision that says, you know what? fill in the blank with whatever your name is. I'm tired of being in this place. I want to do something different. I want better for my life, and I'm willing to do whatever it's going to take. And that's where you got to be. And that is the intention for me in this conversation as we, dive off into depression. There is so much more for you to experience in your life. And so I do not want you to give up. I do not want you to stay in that dark place. I want you to get a mindset that says, I'm a winner. I am an achiever, and I am going to figure this thing out. But at the end, I am going to, matter of fact, I want you to say, I am determined to live my best life yet. Okay? So listen, I hope that the conversation that we have had on today, that it has incited, impacted, and empowered you into change. And listen, I want to hear from you, so please drop down in the comments section below and talk back to me in this life series dealing with depression. Until next time, thank you so much for tuning in to Toresa Be Free's World with your girl, Toresa Be Free. Bye.